Everyone keeps saying AI killed 30,000 Amazon jobs, but after digging into what's actually happening, that narrative completely falls apart. The truth is tied to a crisis inside AWS, and it changed the whole conversation about AI, bubbles, and big tech. So here's what we're really going to unpack today: what actually happened inside Amazon that led to 30,000 layoffs, and why blaming AI is not just wrong, but distracts from the real urgent financial pressure the company is under. By the end of this video, you'll understand why AWS, not the retail business, actually runs Amazon, why a slowing cloud growth triggered a massive cut, how GPT shortages and capital spending pushed Amazon into a corner, and why media's favored narratives about AI simply don't add up. Let's break this down step by step so you can see the real story behind the headlines. Most people think Amazon makes money selling you stuff. They don't, and that's the root of this whole mess. Amazon's retail store, the part that you and I actually interact with, is not the profit engine. The margins are razor thin. If Amazon only ran the store, there would be no yacht, no trillion-dollar valuation, no global dominance. Retail is basically a break-even loyalty machine. The real money is AWS. The cloud business funds the entire company. Wall Street obsesses over AWS growth numbers because AWS growth is Amazon's health. When those numbers slow, Amazon feels it immediately in its stock price, its investors' confidence, and its strategic moves. And that's exactly what's been happening. AWS growth has been decelerating, now sitting at around 18% year over year. For most companies, that would be incredible, but for AWS, which used to be far ahead of every cloud competitor, this is a warning sign. Meanwhile, Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure are closing in fast, and they're doing it with AI. Remember this moment because it sets the stage for every decision Amazon is about to make. So if cloud growth is slowing, why would 30,000 layoffs be the response? To understand that, you need to see what Amazon's rivals are doing with AI. If you had to pick a cloud provider for AI, AWS won't be your first choice, and Amazon knows it. Right now, when people think AI, they think Azure, Google Cloud, they think cutting-edge models, integrated tooling, an entire platform built to run AI workloads. AWS, a distant third. This is a huge strategic problem because in the AI era, cloud providers aren't judged by storage and compute power anymore. They are judged by how well they can power AI. And powering AI requires one thing: GPUs. Nvidia GPUs, the chips Jensen Huang sells that cost as much as a car and are impossible to get in volume. If you want to compete in an AI market, you need thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of those chips. At enterprise scale, GPU spending becomes capital expenditure on the level of building a new data centers. For AWS, this is existential. They must buy GPUs, and they must do it without wrecking their operating margins, because those margins are the reason Amazon's stock is worth anything. So what happens when AWS needs to spend billions on GPUs without letting its margins collapse? This is where the math forces Amazon into a corner and where layoffs becomes less about automation and more about accounting. Amazon didn't fire 30,000 people because AI replaced them. Amazon fired 30,000 people to pay for AI. Let's break down the financial logic. GPUs are capital expenditures, big long-term investments, and salaries, those are fixed operating expenses. If you want to dramatically increase your GPU budget without tanking your margins, you must cut expenses elsewhere. And the biggest fixed expense in a company of Amazon's size is simple: salaries. This wasn't automation replacing humans, this was reallocation Amazon needed to free up billions now. The fastest way to do that is cut people, especially in areas where short-term output isn't mission critical. This is why Amazon's public narrative doesn't add up. They're saying we automate with AI, so we don't need these jobs. But anyone who has worked inside Amazon knows that internal works are not magically automated. They're duct tape and baling wire. Manual processes are everywhere, cost-saving hacks that rely on humans. There's no secret AI system quietly replacing 30,000 workers. It simply doesn't exist. What does exist is a corporate spreadsheet following the need GPU money today. Look at where cuts actually happened. Places like MGM, the Hollywood studio Amazon bought, that's not exactly the front line of AI automation, but it is a place where Amazon can afford to slow down and divert resources. This isn't about futuristic efficiency, it is about urgent survival. So how can AI be replacing every job and also be a fake bubble? These stories can both be true. Turn on the news and you'll see two contradictory claims. First one is AI is so powerful it's already automating millions of jobs, and the second one is AI is a bubble that's about to pop. Both cannot be true because if AI had truly automated tons of jobs, corporations would be trying to buy more AI systems. That will prove it's not a bubble. And that's the real world. That's exactly what's happening. Amazon has a 25% GPU overage, meaning demand for GPUs exceeds supplies by massive margins. Azure is struggling to meet demand. Google Cloud is struggling to meet demand. Corporations at every scale, from a small business to enterprise, are lined up begging for GPU accesses. You don't see that in bubbles. You see that in a breakthrough, yet journalists keep pushing two contradictory narratives because they sound dramatic. AI is taking all our jobs, and also AI is fake and overhyped. No, it cannot be both. This layoff wave isn't proof of automation, it is a proof of demand. Corporations don't cut talent because they've automated everything. They cut talent because they are desperate to buy a hardware that will help them automate something in the future. So if AI isn't taking all the jobs yet, and we're not in a bubble, where does that leave the people who were laid off? Understanding the reason doesn't make the layoff hurt any less, and we shouldn't pretend it does. Getting fired is brutal. I've been through it. It's not made easier by explanation, analysis, or macroeconomics. But understanding the truth matters for one reason. We need to stop letting contradiction cloud what's actually happening in tech. Amazon didn't cut 30,000 people because AI succeeded. They cut 30,000 people because AI isn't ready yet, and they have to invest heavily to catch up. This is a reallocation story, not an automation story. For those leaving Amazon, the Illumini network is real. People look out for each other, there are places to land, tech is shifting, not shrinking. So let's wrap this up by simplifying a whole picture into one clear takeaway. So here's the truth, these layoffs weren't caused by Amazon taking jobs, they were caused by Amazon scrambling to buy GPUs it needs to stay alive in the AI cloud war, while keeping AWS margins intact. The media's favorite storyline don't hold together. You can't have an AI bubble and AI automating the entire workforce simultaneously. And this layoff wave proves neither narrative is true. What's real is demand, and what's real is corporate urgency, and what's real is Amazon making painful cuts to pay for the future it's trying to build. If videos like this help you see past the headlines and understand the deeper forces shaping AI, make sure to subscribe because there's a lot more to unpack together. Let me know your thoughts in a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.